So let's take a moment to recap the group work that we started with in section 2.1. There were some hints there as to how to complete this group work, and hopefully you got a chance to check the key out. But the first step, number 1, says carefully sketch this function that's shown above. Well, if it's a square root function, we kind of know the general shape of what that looks like. And notice underneath the square root symbol, we have that 1 plus x, and we can kind of think of that as the same as the square root of x plus 1. And so if you look at it this way, by transformation rules, that means it's really the square root function shifted left 1 unit. And so originally it starts at the origin, so our first point is going to be right there at -1, 0. If I sub in 0 for x, I get an output of 1. Another nice point to plot would be x equals 3. So if I sub in x equals 3 here, you'll get the square root of 4, which is 2. And then one last nice point would be if I sketched at x equals 8, we get an output of 3. And so if we carefully sketch by connecting this with a smooth line, we get that rough shape of what that square root function looks like. Step 2 says sketch a secant line to f between the points x equals 2 and x equals 4. What that means is if x equals 2, the output is right here on the curve, and then at x equals 4, the output would be on the curve slightly above 2. And sketching a secant line, remember what a secant line in pre-calculus is really a line through 2 points. And so one thing you want to jot down is that definition of secant line, line through 2 points. And so if I connect the line through those 2 points, we get something that looks like this. Now for problem 3 here, in order to find the slopes between each of these intervals, we have to use that average rate of change formula that we learned in pre-calc. And remember, the average rate of change formula is if you're given some function, let's say y equals f of x, over some interval a to b, then the average rate of change, or slope in this case, would be rise over run. So the change of outputs, which is identified as f of b minus f of a, that's the difference of the outputs, divided by the difference of your x values, so the difference between a and b, so b minus a. So we use this formula f of b minus f of a all over b minus a for all of these problems down below, and we investigate what the slope is approaching. So you can see the work here, and also you could check the key, but as you notice, as you apply average rate of change formula for each of these intervals, and we simplify using our calculators, we look at, in the first case, we get an answer of 0.268. In the second case, you should have got an answer of 0.236. And then the last case is you should have got really close to 0.25. In fact, the very last case is 0.25009, which leads us to believe that the closer you're approaching this value of 3, in fact, look at these intervals. This is 1 unit below 3. This is 1 unit above 3. This is 1 unit within 3, so 0.5 above, 0.5 below. And now you're looking at 0.2 units above 3 and below 3. And so as you get closer and closer and closer to this value of x equals 3, it looks like the slope is approaching something. In fact, it looks like it's approaching exactly 0.25, or 1/4, we'd say. So in this case, around x equals 3, we'd say that the slope is about 1/4. And so for the second page of this group work, it says, using the slopes you found before, estimate the slope of the tangent line at x equals 3. We see that the slope is approximately 1/4 here. And so number 5 says repeat the problem for at x equals 8 now. And so if we explore at x equals 8, what that's really meaning from problem 4 is that you're first going to explore 1 unit below 8, so x equals 7 to x equals 8. And then we're going to explore 1 unit above 8, so x equals 8 to x equals 9. And then a half unit above and a half unit below, so x equals 7.5 to x equals 8.5. And then lastly, you're going to explore x equals 0.2 units above and below. So in this case, 7.8, x equals 8.2. And again, now using the average rate of change formula again over each of these intervals, so f of b minus f of a all over b minus a using your calculator, and then subbing these values in, again to the same function, y equals the square root of 1 plus x. And doing all that, so in the first case, you should have got 0.1716 roughly for a slope. On the second interval from 8 to 9, 0.1623. In the third case, 0.1667. And in the last case, 0.16667 if you look at 5 decimal places. And it looks to be approaching 0.1666 repeating, which if you remember, that's approximately 1/6 as a fraction. And so at x equals 8, we get a slope of 1/6. At x equals 3, we get a slope of 1/4. So there's some kind of pattern here. So the difficult part was in number 6, trying to find a formula for at any x equals a. Later in this chapter, we'll call this the derivative, which represents the slope of the tangent line at any given point x equals a. We have a formula that helps us work these out, but for now, we're going to have to try to develop this ourselves. So if you look at the first several cases, if we set up a table where column 1 is the x-coordinate, so x equals a, and column 2 is what the slope we got, well, at x equals 3, we found that the slope was 1/4. At x equals 8, we found that the slope was 1/6. And notice that we're choosing in this group work x equals 3 and x equals 8 because if you notice on the graph of this function, y equals square root of 1 plus x, as we plug those values in, you actually get very nice outputs to work with. And so if you wanted to kind of test some other values at x equals, another good one to maybe look at, it would be at x equals 15, because that output would be the square root of 16, which ends up being 4, so that's a nice one to explore. And one last one, if you looked at, let's say, x equals 24, to figure out what the slope is there. And you don't have to go through all of them, but you could just jump right to 0.2 above and 0.2 away, like the last couple cases, to explore what the slope is, but that might give you an idea of what x equals a might be. If you were to explore these, you should get an answer of 1/8 for a slope of 15, and then at x equals 24, you should get a slope of 1/10. So notice there is a pattern to explore here. So for any x equals a, the slope ends up being 1/2 square roots of 1 plus a. And that was a little bit difficult to come up with on your own, but again, we call this the derivative later on, the slope of the tangent line, later on in chapter 2. This group work was just kind of an introduction into kind of exploring how we figure out the slope of the tangent line. So in summary, we can find the slope of any nonlinear function around any given x-coordinate by really kind of zooming in on that interval that we're looking at. And if we zoom in enough, if you notice in this case, zooming in around x equals 1 on that parabola, if we zoom in enough, we can make that curved line appear to be somewhat of a straight looking line. And then from then, we can choose some points around x equals 1 and use average rate of change formula to figure out a rough idea what that slope would be. This is called local linearity, meaning you're kind of localizing around that x-coordinate and you're making it look like a linear function. So local linearity is what we call it. We're just sort of zooming in enough to make it look like a straight line. And so in lesson 2.1, it's all about finding the equation of a tangent line, slopes of tangent lines, some velocity problems at the tail end. And so in this example, it says find the equation of a tangent line to y equals x squared at the point 1, 1. Well, in order to find the equation of a line, well, we need a point, which we have here, and we also need slope. If we have a point and we have slope, then we can use point-slope form, which is this, y minus y1 equals the slope x minus your x-coordinate x1. And so the first step here is to really investigate what the slope is around x equals 1. And remember, to investigate slope around x equals 1, let's choose an interval super close to 1. In fact, let's maybe do 2 decimal places away from 1. So let's say if I did 2 decimal places away from x equals 1, well, 2 decimal places away from x equals 1 on the lower side would be 0.99, and 2 decimal places away from the higher side would be 1.01. And so if I use this interval really close to 1 and use average rate of change formula, f of b minus f of a all over b minus a, this should give me an idea of what the slope is at x equals 1. And so after using your calculator and simplifying it, after applying the average rate of change formula, you should get a slope of 2. And so now that I have slope, and I'm looking at my point 1, in point slope form, y minus my y coordinate equals my slope, x minus my x coordinate. You could solve for y here and get it into slope-intercept form. However, in CIS, we'll accept answers in this form where it's left in point slope form. But there's the equation of the tangent line. So here's a couple problems I want you to try on your own. It says find the equation of a tangent line for the given function and point below. And so remember, if you're finding the equation of a tangent line, the first thing to explore is the slope around that x-coordinate. And here in both cases, the x-coordinate's 2. So you're going to try to explore the slope around x equals 2. That y-coordinate just helps you plugging into the point slope form when you're ready to find the equation in the end. So good luck. Pause the video. Try the best you can on these, and we'll go over the answer here in a few seconds. So you can check your work here, but after working these out using average rate of change formula in both cases, in the first case you should have got a slope of 12. In the second case you should have got a slope of -1/4, and so if you plug it into point slope form, these are your 2 equations of tangent lines that you should have got. So last part of this lesson is kind of relating this to some real-world applications. And so it says, suppose a rock is thrown upward on planet Mars with a height given by this model here. It says, first case, find the average velocity over the interval 1 to 2. In the second case, it says, find the instantaneous velocity at 1 second. So what the exact velocity would be at x equals 1 second. And so in the first case, average velocity, that just really means average rate of change. And so if you're given some interval, a to b, 1 to 2 in this case, to find slope, this is really pertaining to the slope of a secant line over 2 points. And so we're going to use our average rate of change formula for part A. And in this case, b's 2 and a value ends up being 1. And so if I plug it in, we can just use our calculator here. And you should get an answer of 4.42, and if we're talking velocity in this case, where value of t is in seconds and our output's in meters, and so this would be meters per second as our units here. So over that interval we get an average velocity of 4.42. For instantaneous velocity, the word instantaneous velocity means really the slope of the tangent line here. And so remember, to find slope of the tangent line, we want to explore an interval really close to 1. We're still going to use average rate of change formula, and so it's still going to be f of b minus f of a all over b minus a. But now our interval's not given. We have to choose an interval really close to 1. So in this case, let's choose something 2 decimal places away. So again, let's choose 0.99 and 1.01 to explore this one. And so if I did average rate of change formula, f of 1.01 minus f of 0.99 all over b minus a, and use our calculator again, you should get an answer of 6.28 meters per second. So in summary, the average velocity here ends up being 4.42 meters per second, and then the instantaneous velocity pertaining to really the slope of the tangent line there ends up being 6.28 meters per second. So here's one I want you to try, very last problem of the day. It says Mr. McNally throws an Algebra 2 student in the air out of frustration. So this is based off of a true story. The vertical motion can be described as this model, where t is in seconds and the output's in feet. First question says find the average velocity over the first 2 seconds. So in that case, you're going to use the interval 0 to 2 because it's the first 2 seconds. And then the instantaneous velocity at 2 seconds. So I'm going to let you guys choose the interval around 2 seconds there. But in both cases, you're using the average rate of change formula. And don't forget your units. So good luck. Pause the video and we'll check our answer here in a few seconds. So after working both of these out, average rate of change formula in the first case from 0 to 2, you should have got -4 feet per second when you work that out on your calculator. And then the last one, I chose that interval, again, 2 decimal places away from 2, so 1.99 to 2.01, and using that interval, you get -8 feet per second. And so these would both be the average velocity and instantaneous velocity around x equals 2. So here's your homework for the day, only 4 problems, but there is quite a few parts to each of these problems. In both cases, you'll have to do problems where you find the slope of the secant line, tangent line. You might also have some problems where in BAS you find the average velocity versus instantaneous velocity. So good luck, try your best on the homework. Don't forget about that discussion board on Canvas to get any homework help. Try to get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great rest of your day.